Thingkho Le Malcha, by KSO Media and Documentation Cell, issue number 49, Monday, 30 October, 2023. Headlines: Tribal body knocks ministry's door on deceptive tactics of Manipur government for securing tribal funds to non-tribals. Friday holiday issue, and Biren Singh's government takes up So-Motu FIR against Lamka joint students' body. Kuki chiefs condemn destruction of defensive bunkers, demand equal justice. Meite's atrocity, Kusabung area blacked out for more than 3 months. Huge cache of arms, explosives, and ammunition unearthed. CM Biren should be held responsible for all lives lost in ongoing conflict, says Congress leader K. Ranjit. Biren's law and order maintenance in Imphal Valley, man shot at, OC's house attacked. Human rights alert clarifies on arrested Norwegian citizen, Meite Lipun chief alleges conspiracy. Does it pay to be an anti-nationalist? Separate administration for Kukis has become a necessity to solve the Manipur crisis. Thingkho Le Malcha, Relief Center update. Pahong Relief Center, Pahong Village, Lungchong Maifai Subdivision, Ukral District. Managed by Kuki Students Organization Ukral District. Total inmates registered, 192. Male, 94. Female, 98. Kuki victims update as on October 16, 2023. Deaths, 146. Villages burnt, 200 plus. Houses burnt, 7,000 plus. Churches and synagogues burnt, 360. Displaced persons, 41,425. Tribal body knocks ministry's door on deceptive tactics of Manipur government for securing tribal funds to non-tribals. Strongly condemning the Manipur government for supporting a proposal aimed at securing funding from the Ministry of Tribal Affairs in New Delhi for Meitei NGOs under the guise of tribal development, the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum, ITLF, has said that such a distressing revelation uncovered a disturbing narrative of systematic injustice, corruption, and discrimination against the indigenous tribal communities of Manipur. On October 23, 2023, the Chief Minister, N. Biren Singh, had submitted a proposal to Union Minister of Tribal Affairs, Arjun Munda, claiming to foster sustainable employment and self-reliance among Manipur's tribal population. The revelation of the projects, mentioned in the DPR, amounts to over 3 crores, thus deepening the concerned tribal populace in the state, given the sinister reality lurking behind those seemingly well-intentioned words. Mr. Ginza Walzong, spokesperson, ITLF, in a statement issued on Monday, said that the proposal, endorsed by the Manipur state government, asserted that those Meitei, primarily general category, NGOs operated in remote tribal districts and areas. However, he informed the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and Union Minister, Arjun Munda, that the Kuki-Zo tribals were entirely oblivious to any projects or initiatives undertaken by those NGOs to date, purportedly for the betterment of the tribal communities. It is our profound suspicion that these Meitei NGOs, conveniently headquartered in Imphal, are exploiting the tribal community as a means to secure project funds from the center, which the state government can and likely will divert for their own undisclosed purposes. He said. This revelation, among other ominous aspects, includes an audacious demand by the Meiteis for scheduled tribe, ST, quota benefits, in an apparent attempt to capitalize on the financial advantages associated with this category. This is despite their existing classification and protection under the scheduled caste, SC, and other backward class, OBC, categories. Ginza added. The tribal leader stated that the actions of the Manipur state government and the allegations of exploitation by the Meitei NGOs have shown a harsh light on Manipur's increasingly divided and troubled socio-political landscape where everything is for, by and of the Meitei. The Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum called on the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, Government of India, to scrutinize the matter and ensure that the continued violation and denial of human rights and development and the neglect of constitutional principles by the Meitei-centric Manipur state government were promptly addressed. Friday holiday issue, and Biren Singh's government takes up So-Motu FIR against Lamka joint students' body. Under the instruction from the Home Department, Government of Manipur, the Churachandpur police station has registered one So-Motu FIR number 2823, 10, 2023 CCPPSU/S186/341/189/506 IPC against the members of the joint students' body, Lamka, for a notice served against attending government offices every Friday. On October 26, 2023, the joint students' body, Lamka, had issued a public reminder urging all government's institutions to observe every Friday as holiday as per a resolution taken in the month of August in protest against the ethnic violence perpetrated by the Meitei radicals allegedly censored by state machineries. The Manipur government said that the notice was without any authority/jurisdiction, published through different media including social media platforms, different WhatsApp groups etc. and the content therein is likely to aggravate the ongoing law and order crisis in the state, and that a deliberate attempt of renaming of institutions and places had been made along with Public declaration for adoption of resolution for observing every Friday as a holiday by all institutions of government of Manipur, including the offices of the DCS/SP/CEO/ADCs, government schools/colleges in the town of Churachandpur. In a press release issued on Monday, the Chief Secretary, Dr. Vineet Joshi, said the state government is taking up all possible steps without leaving any stone unturned to book culprits involved under relevant provision of law for the time being in force. Intelligence gathering has been strengthened, whereas any such act of spreading message/circulating material/press release/public notice which poses threat to the communal harmony, peaceful coexistence, internal and national security has been viewed very seriously by the state government with utmost sensitivity, he said. The Home Department requested the general public, including all public functionaries, not to rely on such post/material/press release/public notice which, the Home Department said had been illegally generated and spread through different media, and also not to follow/to resort to any kind of unwanted act/violence. Kuki chiefs condemned destruction of defensive bunkers, demand equal justice. The Kuki Chiefs Association Gunpi area, under Chakpakarong subdivision, Chundel, vehemently condemned the destruction of defensive bunkers in Yunglen Thingkho area and physical and mental harassment meted out to the village volunteers in the evening at around 5:35 p.m. on Sunday. In a press condemnation issued on Monday, the president of Kuki Chiefs Association, Thingkho Le Haokip, said that the concerned Kuki people of the locality were once promised by Brig Swant, 28 Sector, Kukching, for providing adequate security, and as such, they are ready to resettle in their respective abandoned villages. However, to the Kuki people's dismay, the same army officer came along to unleash a reign of terror in the locality just in favor of one particular community with whom they live side by side. Further, it was also learnt that the Saru villagers were being returned from their flight, and the Kukis of the same area are waiting to do the same only after the permission from the security officer, he said. The Kuki chiefs demanded for sanitization their neighboring Meitei villages, as the Meitei militants, including banned terrorists/UGs, are known to be present among the Meitei civilians. The association also believed in equality and justice, and cautioned that favoritism and biased treatment on the part of government or its agents would not bring peace and tranquility, but will escalate the already tense situation in the locality. Meitei's atrocity, Kusabung area blacked out for more than 3 months. It has been more than 3 months now that 22 villages in Kusabung area, situated in the periphery of Lamka Hill district, are deprived of power supply after it was reportedly cut off by miscreants from the valley area. It is reported that the line supplying power to these 22 villages was cut off from Thamnapakpi in Bishnupur district by the Meitei miscreants on July 26, 2023. Since then, power supply is not available in the area. As of today, out of 22 villages in Kusabung area, 16 villages are still to get electric supply. The village chiefs in the area had highlighted the matter to the district authority. It has been learned that the Deputy Commissioner of Churachandpur had repeatedly highlighted the matter to the Commissioner, Power, and the Chief Secretary in writing. However, nothing has been done yet to solve the problem. At the same time, the villagers have decried the utter apathy of the authority concerned to resolve the matter. The non-availability of electricity has doubled the hardship of the people in the area, as many activities came to a halt, and harvesting season has already begun. They urged the authority concerned to redress the grievances at the earliest. Views of TLM. Various calls to close public offices have been called in the past by the Nagas and the Meiteis, but the Meitei government has invited them for talks, wherein even the incumbent chief secretary has also been acting as the peacemaker between the Naga/Meitei students and the Meitei government. In the case of the JSB of Churachandpur, the Meitei government has seen the people of Lamka as soft targets. Only separate administration can bring a plausible solution to this. Huge cache of arms, explosives, and ammunition unearthed. In a significant joint operation conducted by Manipur Police, the Indian Army, and paramilitary forces, a substantial cache of arms, explosives, ammunition, and warlike stores were unearthed in 2 districts during the past 24 hours, the police said. A total of 20 hand grenades, 1 carbine, 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 303 rifle, and several magazines with live ammunition were recovered in the simultaneous combing operations. The operations were carried out at Guranagar, Tarakongbi, Kalakpam, and Sanjenjabam in Imphal East District during the period from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Monday, the police said. On Sunday, the operations were also launched at the adjoining areas of Fugakeo Ikai Mamang Laikai and Kulbung village under Fugakeo Ikai Police Station in Bishnupur District. 2 arms, SMG carbine with magazine 01, country-made 9mm pistol-01, 7 ammunition, and 10 explosives were recovered in these operations, the police said. CM Biren should be held responsible for all lives lost in ongoing conflict, says Congress leader K. Ranjit. A senior leader of Manipur Pradesh Congress Committee, K. Ranjit, has said that the Chief Minister of Manipur, N. Biren Singh, should be held responsible for all the people who have lost their lives in the ongoing crisis in the state. Ranjit made the statement while speaking to media persons on Monday. The Congress leader said that the present crisis would not be extended for 6 months if the state government had controlled the incident at Churachandpur on May 3 in time, informing that the Vice President of India was in Imphal on May 3. Ranjit also questioned the authority concerned as to why permissions were granted for the rally on the same day in Churachandpur and why additional security forces were not deployed to control the situation at the initial stage of the violence. The chief minister put the blame on security lapses and security failure. However, the chief minister later on made a statement stating that the ongoing crisis/war is a war to save the Meiteis, said Ranjit. The Congress leader also questioned the state BJP government as to why they have not approached and met the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, to control and bring an end to violence in the state, reacting to the statement of state BJP President, Sharda, that the Congress party is responsible for the ongoing crisis. Ranjit said he was ashamed to hear such statement from Sharda. The BJP president should digest the issues in the state and not make baseless statement, he said, accusing that the BJP MLAs were also among those MLAs demanding for separate administration. Even though Sharda denied it, Ranjit said that the state BJP president should speak only if she has a proper knowledge about what she is talking about. At such critical juncture when the state is in crisis and the future unpredictable, Sharda must not make wild allegations, the Congress leader added. Biren's law and order maintenance in Imphal Valley, man shot at, OC's house attacked. The undisturbed police jurisdictional areas of Imphal has again witnessed another chaotic law and order situation reportedly on October 28 and 29, 2023. Suspected armed group had shot a man in his leg near Mayung Imphal Mybam Thongkong under Mayung Imphal PS on Sunday night. The injured man has been identified as Tekelambam Lakhan, 39, S/O.L, Manglemba of Chanam Sandrak Maning Laikai. As per police sources, the radical gunman shot Lakhan in his left leg for a reason unknown till the filing of this report. The victim was immediately rushed to Mayung Imphal PHC for treatment. Meanwhile, another armed group opened fire at the residence of Yarapok PSOC MD Riaz Khan on October 28, 2023. According to a police report, the armed miscreants fired 2 to 3 rounds at the residence of the police officer at around 11:30 p.m. on Saturday. No one was injured in the firing. The identity of the miscreants and the reason for the attack are yet to be known. Police have registered a case in this regard and investigation is underway. Notably, all sorts of crimes and violation of human rights like gun culture, bomb culture, extortions, threats, intimidation, etc., are rampant in Greater Imphal areas since the violence began in the state. Ironically, N. Biren Singh continues to claim improvement of law and order in the state. Human Rights Alert clarifies on arrested Norwegian citizen, Meitei Lipun chief alleges conspiracy. Apropos to the article tilted lady arrested from Quiremband Keithel with Norwegian passport is a Myanmar-based armed militant published in the Imphal Times on October 29, which has gone viral in the social media, attracting adverse comments from various quarters. The Human Rights Alert, HRA, has came out with facts of the case. The executive director of the Human Rights Alert, Bublu Loitingbam, said, the case of Miss Maya Kie Mon, a Norwegian citizen of Myanmar origin, was brought to the attention of HRA by the Myanmar language instructor of the Center for Myanmar Studies of Manipur University. When the matter was brought to the attention of HRA, for the first time in 2022, she was already detained in the Imphal Central Jail. We do not know her before, nor do we have any prior contact with her. In a press release issued on Sunday, the human rights activist said that HRA took up her case as a woman in distress case and informed the relevant section of the Royal Norwegian Embassy in New Delhi. Thereafter, she was issued a fresh Norwegian passport as her old passport had expired. Upon her release on bail and not having a place to stay, she contacted us of help. We assisted her to stay in a women's home run by an NGO, pending her trial in the court. In the wake of the ethnic unrest in Manipur and when the NGO expressed their discomfort in keeping her, we organized an air ticket for her to go out of the state. We have been informed that she was summoned by the court to appear in her pending trial in Manipur. Bublu said. The Human Rights Alert stated that it has no prior contact with her before the activists met her in the jail in Manipur. We do not know her antecedents or background. HRA only provided legal aids and humanitarian services when requested by a woman in distress as per our mandate as an organization defending the human rights for all, he said. Meanwhile, the Meitei Lipun, ML, chief, Pramit Singh, strongly reacted against Bublu Loitingbam's HRA statement, alleging the human rights activist as co-conspirator in the ethnic violence between the Meiteis and Kukis. Enough. Stop it please, we know how deep you are into the conspiracy. ML doesn't speak without substance and without ground reality like you people. We don't go by emotion. We are new Meitei, a breed you never seen. It is a matter of time, everything will be out soon. Stop lying for your own sake. You did a huge crime against Meiteis. Just wait, traitor, Pramit Singh said on his social media handle. Mention may be made that the Meitei Lipun is one of the radical outfits based in Imphal and its chief, Pramit Singh, is one of the key culprits in the ongoing ethnic cleansing pogrom against the Kukis people. The radical group targeted the Kukizos by unleashing counter-blockade on the highways of the Kukis much before the ethnic violence began on May 3, 2023. The radicalized armed group was also one of the perpetrators in criminal activities against the former police officer, Th Brinda, and human rights activist, Bubble Loitingbam. Th Brinda was stormed at her residence, intimidated and forced to retract her statement. Loitingbam's residence was destroyed and he was forced to clarify his remarks against the radical organization. Does it pay to be an anti-nationalist? India has witnessed waves of secessionist movements since its independence in 1947. Some of them are rooted in India's history as a British-ruled territory. Much earlier than Kashmir, Junagadh and Hyderabad, it was the Nagas who petitioned for independence from India once the British leave India. Naga movement gained momentum in post-independence India. As a way to pacify them, Nagas were granted statehood in 1963, though some groups still continue to fight for independence. The Nagas remain that one entity which always draws India's attention. Similarly, the Bodos, Assamese and Métis have raised secessionist flag and today they have been handsomely accommodated within India, though a weakened Assamese group still continues the fight. Kukis have been very pro-Indian right from the beginning. While like Kukis, other communities did help Netaji's INA, Kukis remained steadfast in their loyalty to India even after India's independence. The Métis have been fighting for an independent Manipur with tacit support from China and many of their insurgents based in Myanmar. However, in the current Métis-Kuki conflict, it looks very apparent that the government of India, GOI, is siding with the Métis, judging from their acts of commission and omission. Ironically, we have a BJP-led government at the center that portrays itself as a hardcore nationalistic government. It is another matter that the Indian army was forced to even release 4 Métis insurgents who were responsible in killing 18 soldiers of the Dogra regiment. Is the GOI trying to appease the Métis? Is that how they want to deal with secessionist groups, or are they bowing to pressure from these groups? Whatever it is, from this conflict and from the past history, one thing has emerged, that the GOI takes seriously only those who raise the secessionist flag and gives a damn to those who swears their loyalty to India. Even the RSS seem to side with a group that wants to break India by dishing out pro-Métis narratives. The sense of being wronged in a Kuki psyche is very deep now. Kukis should not be pushed too far that it might compel them to a path of second Kuki rising. If such a day comes, it will be disastrous for all stakeholders including Kukis, but India's Act East policy will end up being a dream till the 22nd century. Separate administration for Kukis has become a necessity to solve the Manipur crisis. The Manipur violence has divided people from the Kuki and Métis community, physically and emotionally. No Métis would set foot in the Kuki areas, whereas any Kuki setting foot in Impal faces an impending death. This is a case of two communities that shared the closest political relationship for many years. When one looks at the history of Manipur, Kukis supported the Métis kings in times of prosperity and adversity. Several historical accounts mention how Kuki chiefs defended and protected Métis kings from being slaughtered in the wilderness. However, Kukis are now labeled as illegal immigrants, refugees and narco-terrorists. The violence completely overturned the relationship between these two communities. The Kukis, allies of the erstwhile Métis kings, have become a soft target for the majority Métis community. More than 150 people have died in the violence and properties worth thousands of crores in the Impal Valley were looted and reduced to ashes. It will take many years, and perhaps generations, to overcome the trauma inflicted by the violent mobs and the state police. Even if peace returns, no Kuki will be willing to move to the Métis areas, and the same with the Métis. The initial days of the conflict did appear like a violent outburst over the demand for the scheduled tribe (ST) status by the Métis community. However, over time, it appears to be a premeditated and planned conspiracy against the Kuki community. Unlike previous conflicts, the recent violence has divided the state administration, the police, the judiciary and the bureaucracy deeply across ethnic lines. Under such circumstances, the rule of law and party affiliations appear to have taken a back seat. Several brutal incidents such as the mob attack on Thenlon MLA Vungsajan Vault, the brutal killing of a woman in the Sombung area of Manipur's Impal East, the killing of a lady officer, an undersecretary to the government of Manipur, with her son, the looting and torching of Kuki homes in the presence of police personnel are testimonies to the state's failure to control the situation. When politicians, including cabinet ministers and officers of the state and union government, are so unsafe, it cannot be imagined how risky the life of the common man is in a situation of violence. State police's lack of credibility. Under such compelling circumstances, 10 Kuki MLAs submitted a representation to the union government on May 12, demanding a separate administration for the Kukizo community in the state. They expressed that they have lost faith in the government and the majority community. Thus, the idea of a separate administration, which earlier was a demand put forth by militant organizations such as the United People's Front, UPF, and the Kuki National Organization, KNO, has become the demand of the Kuki population represented by its lawmakers. On August 16, the MLAs further demanded that a separate Director General of Police, DGP, and chief secretary be appointed immediately for the Kuki-dominated districts of Churachandpur, Farzal, Kangpokpi, Tengnupal and Chandel. While the plea for the creation of the DGP and chief secretary posts is an urgent administrative necessity, it's intricately linked to the concept of a separate administration. Interestingly, the Kuki MLA's representation to the center has also been the long-standing dream of Kuki militants over the last 30 years. There has never been a situation so conducive for the creation of a separate political entity as it is happening now. In their representation, the Kuki lawmakers told the center that the two communities living together as one would be impossible. Thousands of government employees belonging to the Kuki community had to leave Impal owing to the threat to their lives. Kuki bureaucrats, including senior IAS and IPS officers, posted in Impal can no longer discharge their duties. They either took leave or relocated to safer places. There have been reported mass transfers of employees working in courts and government schools, as well as clerical staff in all offices. They are unwilling to return to Impal. Another equally important area to consider is the loss of faith and trust in law enforcement agencies, including the state's chief minister and the policemen. The Kuki MLAs believe that the law enforcement agencies failed miserably in safeguarding lives and maintaining law and order, alleging collusion with the violent Meitei mobs. There have been reports that suggest that the state police cooperated with the Meitei mobs when Kuki civilians and villages were being attacked. This could be seen from the accounts of the rape victims who alleged that the policemen, who were on duty, were present during the crime but didn't help them. Furthermore, countless atrocities and abuses that happened in the heart of Impal City fail to get due attention or attract Soamoto cognizance, particularly when the victim belonged to the Kuki community. Such is the credibility the state police have earned over the past 3 months. The violence reshaped the principles of coexistence. The Kuki MLAs have called for a separate administration with an independent DGP who can ensure fairness, protect lives, and maintain law and order without bias toward any community. This demand arises from the compelling need to secure the welfare and safety of the Kuki people, who have endured discrimination and hate for 7 decades. Now, the violence perpetrated by the majority Meitei community against the Kukis has accelerated the call for separation. The elites among the Kuki community, who are largely lukewarm to any political settlement, became the first casualty of the violence. They had wielded strong control over Kuki political movements for the past many years. They believe in peaceful coexistence and are therefore opposed to Naga integration movements. However, the past 3 months have completely reshaped the principles of coexistence like never before. In an interview with The Wire, hosted by Karen Thapar, a leader of the Kuki People Alliance, KPA, WL Hengxing noted that the Manipur violence divided the people from the Kuki and Meitei communities, physically and emotionally. He further pointed out that as separation has already been completed, it is at the hands of the union government to recognize and give them powers to govern themselves as 2 separate political entities to avoid further conflicts in the future. Meanwhile, according to reports, 2 Kuki insurgent groups, UPF and KNO, are in the final rounds of negotiation with the Government of India. A separate political entity in the form of a union territory with legislative powers, a territorial council or a special autonomy under specific provisions of the Constitution of India are the demands put forth by the militant groups. Whatever it is, the ball is in the union government's court. It's to be seen how serious it is in solving the insurgency in Manipur and the northeast. However, if the union government is not serious enough in considering the Kuki people's problem, because it is opposed by a certain community, then it could be seen as a failure of the parliamentary system. It will set a negative precedent for all decision-making matters vested in the union. Secondly, it must be prepared for a new wave of insurgency. The Kukis' loyalty to the Government of India and the Constitution should not be tested anymore. They fought the British for almost 3 years and later joined hands with Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose's Indian National Army in the freedom struggle. Of the total 193 freedom fighters of Manipur listed in the INA Museum at Moirang in Manipur, 159 belonged to the Kuki community. In Band Mataram, Freedom Fighters of Manipur, published by the Congress Party in 1986, 79 out of the total of 112 are Kukis. No other community in Manipur can match their contribution towards India's freedom struggle. However, they were denied the rightful place by successive governments for the past 7 decades. Until now, the Kukis strongly believed in the Union of India. The recent call for a separate entity in Manipur is primarily driven by the Kukis' urgent need to safeguard their welfare and security in response to a significant existential threat. Unlike the demands of neighboring communities like the Meiteis and the Nagas, this aspiration does not pose a challenge to the idea of India. The current demand might not have arisen if not for the substantial threats posed by the Meitei community. In their dealings with the Manipur government, the Kukis seem to have reached a point of no return.